Hello and welcome to this beginner's Photoshop tutorial, where we will explore Photoshop tools for the absolute beginner. Hi, I'm Ehsan. I will be guiding you through this tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer all your questions. And if you find this tutorial useful and want to see more, please like and subscribe to help the channel grow, so we can bring you more amazing tutorials. Please note, this is the fifth part of the Photoshop tools tutorial. You can follow the links in the description to watch the previous parts first, if you haven't watched them yet. Okay, let's get started. Part 5. The Paint Bucket tool. You can use the Paint Bucket tool to fill areas of similar color in your image with the foreground color. In this example, I will use the clown image on the right to sample colors and fill in the image on the left with the same colors. First, I will duplicate the layer, so I can start again if I need to. You may need to right-click on your image and rasterize the layer before you can edit it. Every time I click on the foreground color box, I can choose a different color and fill in the corresponding part on the left image. Sometimes, you may run into areas where the border is broken or incomplete. This will cause the fill to spill over to the adjacent areas. To solve this kind of issue, select the Brush tool. Choose a 1 pixel size and 100% hardness to draw thin lines to complete the borders. Then you can use the paint bucket to fill in these areas. You can use the foreground color, or you can use a pattern to fill in any area. As with other previous tools, you can choose the blending mode. And depending on your image, you may have to play around with the blending modes to choose what's best for your image. The opacity affects the color you use to fill in with. The tolerance allows you to control painting the adjacent areas that have similar colors with slight variations. Anti-alias creates smooth edges when painting. The paint bucket allows you to fill in areas that are defined by border lines if you check the contiguous box. Otherwise, it will fill in all areas in your image that have the same color. The Hand tool. You can use the Hand tool to navigate around your image in Photoshop. This is very useful if you are zoomed in on your image to work on some small details, as it allows you to move from one part of your image to another without having to zoom back out. Move to the new required part, then zoom back in again, which saves you time. Another useful tip that allows you to access the Hand tool while using any other tool is to hold the spacebar, which allows temporary access to the Hand tool. You can click and drag on your image to move to a different position, and let go of the spacebar to continue using the previous tool that you were using. This saves you a lot of time and effort, as you don't have to select the Hand tool, navigate to a new position, then select the previous tool again. In this example, I will zoom in on this image and use the Spot Healing Brush tool to remove some little spots. Hold the space bar, click and drag the image to move to another position. Let go of the space bar, and I am ready to use the Spot Healing Brush tool again, without having to switch tools. Pretty neat little trick. And that's it, as far as the main use of the Hand tool in Photoshop. The Rotate View tool. You can use the Rotate View tool to rotate the canvas view in Photoshop. The main advantage of using the Rotate View tool is to help you align your image in the most comfortable angle to work on. Most people have a preference to the angle they like to draw on the image. For example, I feel more comfortable painting horizontally, which is left to right and right to left, while some people prefer to paint vertically, which is downwards or upwards. So, you can rotate the canvas to help you set your image to suit your drawing or painting angle. This does not rotate the image, only the view, which means if you save the image, it will save in the original orientation. To use the Rotate View tool, select it from the toolbar, click on the image and rotate it in the direction you like. You can enter the angle in the rotation angle box manually. You can also click the Reset View button to reset the image to the original viewing angle. The Path Selection tool. You can use the Path Selection tool to select paths you have already created in Photoshop. I will use the Pen tool to create a shape because it is easier to see a path that has a fill. Make sure the shape layer is active. Select the Path Selection tool from the toolbar. I will click and drag over any part of the shape I created. The path of the shape will be selected, as you can see all the anchor points highlighted. You can use the Path Selection tool to click and drag the shape to a new position. If you hold the Shift key while dragging the shape, the movement will be constrained horizontally or vertically. If you click and drag the shape while holding Alt or Option, you can make a duplicate of the shape. Notice that both shapes are on the same layer, which means the Path Selection tool made the duplicate on the same layer, not on a new layer. We can now use the Path Operations menu to combine, subtract, intersect, exclude or merge these shapes to create different effects. We can also change the fill color and add a stroke to the shapes. These are the main basic uses of the Path Selection tool. The Zoom tool. You can use the Zoom tool to zoom in and out of your image in Photoshop. This is very helpful when you want to work on some specific details in your image. When you select the Zoom tool from the toolbar, you can see all the available options in the Tool Options bar at the top. The main two buttons are the Zoom In and Zoom Out, which work in increments every time you click them. The more times you click, the further you zoom in or zoom out. You can also use Ctrl or Command and plus or minus to achieve the same results. This has the added advantage that you can use these keyboard shortcuts at any time, even if you're using a different tool, so it is worthwhile to remember them, which will save you time and effort. You can also use Ctrl or Command +0 to reset the zoom effect to the original image view. If you use a mouse with a wheel, you can hold Alt or Option to zoom in or out by turning the mouse wheel forward or backward. And while you are zoomed in, you can press Ctrl or Command to move the image right or left by turning the mouse wheel forward or backward. If you press Ctrl or Command and the spacebar, you can use the mouse pointer to click and drag right to zoom in or left to zoom out where the mouse is pointing. This is very useful as it allows you to zoom in on the exact point of your image where you want to work on, again, saving you time and effort. You can use the Fill Screen, 100%, and Fit Screen buttons to zoom in and reset your image to the original view. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you can be notified when I release the remaining parts. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next tutorial.